The good news is that numbers are increasing steadily. In the last 3 years, we've seen significant increases year on year, and in 2018 we even reached 3.9 million incoming tourists. So that's a great story to tell. But like with every number, we need to also consider what's behind it. So in the years leading up to 2015, it's important to remember that Cyprus was seriously underperforming vis-à-vis our competitors in Europe and in our region. Another important factor to consider is the revenues spent. So the revenue per tourist or per visit that will seriously impact the profitability of tourism in Cyprus. Another factor which I consider to be important is not placing Cyprus in a weak negotiating position. So what I mean by this is overexposure to certain kinds of tourists or kinds of tourist products or even operator. So yes, there is an improvement, but there are a lot of buts that we need to be wary of to ensure that we can keep the positive story moving forward. As we said, one of the problems, or one of the risks, is that the Cypriot tourism market is overexposed in certain respects. So diversification on all fronts is definitely something to be considered. So when we think about the tourist product, for example, and this positioning that Cyprus has as being a sea and sand destination, I feel that we've been talking for years about diversifying the tourist product, changing the way the international community sees the Cyprus tourist product. We flirted with the idea of agro-tourism and medical tourism and all these different kinds of tourism, but even though we have made steps towards diversifying, we haven't really established ourselves in any other industry, and this still causes overexposure in other areas. So for example, when we were talking about operators, we don't need to think much further than the recent demise and collapse of Thomas Cook and the exposure that Cyprus tourism has had to this, and the nervousness that exists concerning summer 2020, to understand how dangerous it is to put ourselves in this weak negotiating position. It really was a landmark moment for our team, just really special. As you approach 40 years, you know, time flies. But once we had to actually celebrate, you know, everyone came together. We also have team members that are turning 40 with us this year. So it was a really emotional journey for them on a personal level, to see how they started and how far they've come within this environment. I think one of the main contributors to that success is our willingness and ability to adapt to a changing hospitality landscape. I think everyone will agree how much tourism in Cyprus has changed from its infancy until the present date. And I know we've confused people with our several name changes over the years, but they were strategic, and I sincerely believe that they contributed positively to the fact that we're still here and still successful 40 years down the line. Forming strategic partnerships with Intercontinental Hotel Group especially was definitely a difficult decision at the time, but one that I think we can look back on with, with pride. I think it was the right thing to do at the time. Doing business responsibly and having a good name in the market, I think in the long term is one of the most important things you can do. And last but definitely not least, our people. Our team, we have so many, as I mentioned, that are turning 40 with us this year. We've managed to attract a young management team as well that coupled together with their experienced counterparts have created this dynamic winning duo. Experience combined with fresh and vibrant ideas to take our hotel and our brand to the next level.